Welcome to the first video of the Kanjo Civic Chronicles. Going to be a couple of these. I think I'm just going to have a series of videos that I just, anytime I'm doing work on the Civic, it's going to be its own video, it's going to be its own thing. Might even make a little folder or whatever. But I won't keep you guys too long, let you get in the video here. But it's basically just, this first video is just me getting the motor set up and measuring oil clearance on the crank bearings and fine-tuning it, and just trying to get the oil clearance that I want and need, and a couple other little things along the way. So hope you guys enjoy.
Day before I filmed this, let's just say that. Day before I filmed yesterday, brought it over to Sam's place, and we did the old laptop Civic routine, and we were doing some data logging and this, that, and trying to stay out of the cops' way and because they were just crawling. You do one pull in a car like this, and every cop around town comes crawling, trying to take your money and put their finger up your butt. So I was gonna get some clips out the track. I don't think Sam got any, so we don't have much to show for it. But all was going all right until started getting an oil leak, and my oil pressure was not even near where it was supposed to be. And I did about 3 laps my last run that I was at the track, and I started getting a little bit of rod knock. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that this motor is toast. Which I might not sound like it, but I am pretty upset about that. See, I even had the camera rigged up, but forgot to put the SD card in, and then I was worrying about the oil pressure and the leak, and yeah, so gonna move some shit around here and put stuff away. Disconnect the battery because it's probably gonna be sitting here for a while, and jack it up, see what the motor looks like, see if there's chunks of bearings in there. Oh, when is a guy just gonna get a break? I mean, seriously. I got my wheel chocks back there, I think. Yeah. Oh, look at me. What are the odds this thing sits on these jack stands for a couple months? Yeah, oil is coming all down the transmission. That didn't feel very tight. Well, we're not leaking out of there, so. Oh, that does not look good. Yeah, that's all metal. Yeah, this motor's look at all that.
I don't know why she probably pulled up.
Oh, dude. Oh, there's a chunk in here. Oh, yeah, she's boned.
Oh my god. That is big. You see all these metal shavings right there on this thing? That is not normal.
Yeah, dude, this motor is boned, bro.
You set that thing.
Dude, I was ripping it. I wish I would have got some film.
How'd the car drive before you blew them up?
Dude, it felt fantastic. And then I was getting low oil pressure and I got worried, so I pulled off.
Yeah.
Dude, and like I was saying to everybody else at the track, I'm like, Everything else about the car feels great. The new brakes feel good. Tires feel good. Even when it was a little bit wet out, the car was handling fantastic. And then I go and blow a goddamn motor. There is so much bearing material at the end of these threads on the pan that I can't even get the plug back in. I wiped her out. Let's see now. Alright, there she goes. I'll just do that finger tight. That's fine. Just a little drip. Alright, let's see. Yeah, you can see the murkiness. I did find a little chunk. Oh yeah, you can already see the sparkles. Oh. Not as bad as I thought. There's definitely, now you can see that, all that black. First track day of the season, blow a motor. Yeah, that's good. That's what I like to do. This oil was new. Oh, twist up, I guess. I mean, that's pretty good, but it doesn't make me feel any better. When this comes out, I'm putting in something that is built to the teeth for NA power and just bulletproofing everything. At least I didn't put a hole in the block. I think it was just the motor was already pretty worn, and today just took a toll on her. Probably the first time in a couple of years that she's seen like actual heat. Not like too hot, but like, you know, normal engine temperature heat, because normally this thing ran super cool, so that might have another thing to do with it. My other thinking was, this is the big thing I thought about. So this crank pulley, that is an aftermarket pulley, no dampening, and it's not balanced. And these pulleys kind of have a tendency, it goes 50-50. They do just fine, or they blow motors. This was supposed to be the V2 build. You know, the nice brakes, the VTEC head, you know, all the gauges. And I was going to start getting, you know, doing race decals all on the side. But it looks like we're pretty much skipping the V2 build, going straight from V1 to V3. Things have been interesting, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just, you know, a guy wasn't expecting to hatch his motor on the first race event of the year.
Alright, so from that last clip to this next clip you'll be seeing, there was a little time gap there, maybe a couple weeks. I had gotten all my engine stuff from the machine shop, and started the process of just kind of getting everything organized, getting main bearings and rod bearings, and just sorting everything out and figuring out measurements for stuff and all that. So these next couple clips you'll be seeing is me actually starting to put the engine together and a little bit of measuring here and there and whatnot.
I at least wanted to get some of my well, I need to get the block on my other engine stand. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get some bolts for that. I need to do a little bit of measuring. These might actually go in all the way, because I just hand tightened the ones prior. Ooh, this might actually be minty. If anything, we'll just put a couple washers in there. Would you look at that? What a treat. I should probably put a washer on that, huh? just for funsies. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll grab some washers, and then we'll get these two bolted up, and then I'll get stuff to tighten these fellers. Yeah.
This clip here, I was listening to Roll On Big Mama, and I'd probably get like a content strike, or YouTube is just trying to put their finger at my butt or something. So I just decided to cut the audio and talk over it for you guys. You guys can listen to my beautiful voice. It's like ASMR, but working on cars.
All right, so now we can start doing some measuring and whatnot. So that crank will basically just get flipped, and then it'll set in here, obviously with these bearings set in place first. I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put the mains on. I got to figure out which ones are which and figure out which way the girdle goes on and torque those to spec. I also got ARP studs, so got to kind of go through all that. I got plasti gauge inside to measure oil clearance. Yeah. So what I'm basically going to do is I'd like to put all the mains on and have everything torqued down with the girdle and measure everything, obviously with the bearings in there. Measure every little, every main, and then see how different they are, if they are different, because this was all machined down, so we will see what we're working, see if they're any different or not. Yeah, I'll just have to figure out what main goes where. They're all numbered and labeled. I'm just gonna have to cross-reference that with the interwebs, because I don't have the book for these. It's the one car that I don't have a book for. Oh, there's a little spider hanging out on there. So a little bit of interweb searching, just make sure we got the mains in the right location, and then get those studs installed, throw everything together, and yeah, just kind of see what we're twerking with. Oh yeah, forgot I was gonna clean these out. That should be good. All right. We got all of our washers on there. And all of our nuts on there. We'll worry about that in a second. So let us start the greasing process. No, I'm not wearing gloves. Why? Because I don't like gloves. Okay, this is not working. I need to cut this with a knife or something. But I was doing some reading on the packaging. I guess the grease helps with friction. And then, yeah, you only go hand tight on these fellers. But I think what I'll do is I'll do just a little bit with the with an old Allen wrench, just to make sure, That's what I usually do with my my head studs, my ARP head studs. I'll just a little bit, just to make sure they're in there all the way, I mean, they say hand tight. I guess you could consider, it's probably going to be standard. You could consider just a little bit with the Allen to be hand tight. Alright, so I got everything hand tight. I got to go up front and get my 12-point sockets so I can torque all of these. We'll torque all of it, and we'll take it all apart, and then we'll see where we're sitting with our plasti gauge, and we'll figure out if we need to do different bearings or if these are going to work. That's pretty much what I'm doing here. And if these work, then I'd like to oil everything up and assemble, you know, obviously this again, and then we can measure rod bearings. All right, so I got the crank and the mains in here. I measured everything to Honda torque spec, and then I was thinking, oh well, I double checked and ARP has their own torque for the studs, so I did it to that, and then the crank seemed a little bit too tight, so I stopped there, and then I went over to the cylinder head, and I'm like, all right, let's lap some valves. Well, come to find out, I need to hone the guides, the new guides for the new valves. And I even tried putting in a factory valve, and it goes in a little bit, and then it gets stuck at a certain point. So that's really cool. That's really good. All right. It is the next day. And I'm not pissed anymore. Well, I don't really know how to feel, honestly. Sure. I'm gonna rip all this apart, clean it all off, plastic gauge again, and then figure out what we need to do for bearings. Because I am pretty positive that 80 foot-pounds is the final torque spec for the ARP boys. So that's what we're gonna do. Uh-oh. We're organized, but kind of not organized. I don't know. I know where everything's at, kinda. Thought I should maybe just pull all of these just to make sure we don't have any grease on the other side, because I would assume that would probably, or could cause a spun bearing, which we don't want. I'll do these other three and clean up these caps, and then we'll come back and I'll start throwing all this back together for plastic gauge. Okay, we're plastic gauged up. We will first hit everything with 22 foot-pounds. Then we'll just do 50, because that's a really good, well, the middle three are 49 factory, and then the outer two are 56 foot-pounds, I believe. So we'll just do 22, 50, and then we'll do 80 as our final. Alright, now we'll do 80. Yeah, I have a feeling the outer two are going to be the tight ones. But we will see. I'm going to hit this 80 and get everything apart, and we'll come right back. From pulling the number 5 main, it's way too tight. So I might be able to get away with factory size, still get ACL with brace bearings, but factory size on the outsides, and then should be pretty mint. Okay, so this one actually isn't too bad. So let's measure. So that's about I forget what the specs are. Let me look at my specs real quick. I just had to flip over the thing here. Yeah, that's... Oh yeah, that's in spec. Yep. So I'd say maybe 0.03, which is in spec. Alright. Let's get these middle boys off and see what those look like. Alright, so I think I got her figured out. So, these 3 journals. These 3 journals, they're in spec, and they're all about the same, which is good. These 2, so 5 and 4, they're a little tight. And they're like right on the edge of, well, they're pretty much right over the edge of being too tight. So I'm thinking I can do half shell of standard bearing and a half shell of the overbearing. So just keep the caps out. Once I get more bearings, put the standard size in those 2 fellers and those caps. Put all the rest of it together. Obviously plasti gauge again, and then see where we're at there. And if we're mint, then we will take it all apart again, like I've said 18 times, loop the shit out of it, and then assemble it, and then see if it spins. And if it spins good by hand, then we should be mint. I might check our rod oil clearance, bearing clearance on that, but not sure yet, because I'm sick as a dog right now. So I might just organize a little bit, and I want to stay active a little bit. I just don't want to, use too much brain power. You know what I'm saying? So I got bored. I made a sweet vanity plate for the Civ. It's the old Spectre logo. It's pretty sweet. Well, then a guy got to thinking, I'm going to have a splitter rod that basically comes right where the plate is. So, I don't know. I could put that on the tag if I wanted to, but yeah, I don't know. I was just bored. I made that. Just kind of staring at stuff and looking stuff over, and it's kind of hard because I got the splitter sitting right there, and the bumper, and more bumpers and hoods and stuff. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Just kind of hanging out. Still gotta order bearings for this. Haven't been able to do that. Well, I could probably order them tomorrow. I gotta throw some cash that I got in the old bank account so I can order them. Then on top of that, I gotta get a reamer bit or whatever for my valve guides. That'll be interesting. Yeah. Probably got to get more plasti gauge because I plasti gauged this like 2 or 3 times. So running out of plasti gauge, at least the size that I need, which is the green stuff. But that's fine. It's all good. Yeah, just kind of staring at all the parts and stuff that I got. That block, I'm going to take the crank out one of these days and see how much it is just to get the crank micro-polished. And then I could basically assemble that engine and that cylinder head and have a spare engine. These rockers are going to go into the new setup just because I know these are good. They're nice and smooth and all that. I do have another set of rockers sitting right next to one of those valve covers over there. So I'll just huck those in here and call it good. There is a little bit of, I think it was here. No, it was over here. A little bit of scoring on the cam journals, but it ran fine beforehand. I'll just throw those stock cams back in here. I'll get some factory cam gear. Well, even if I don't get factory cam gears, I'm going to need another set of cam gears if I want to have that engine and this one going. Because this has aftermarket cam gears on it. They're VMS. You can see the gold down in there. I'm not picking them up, but you can trust me. Yeah. Just kind of thinking about stuff and figuring out what I want to do and all that. So, yeah. Alright, so next day again. I've been wanting to do a real cold air intake on the Civ. So the intake comes down on this side, and it lines up pretty much perfect with, you guessed it, the headlight. And this has already got some good, like, this little cowl's got like good built-in ducting. So I'm either going to make something that, well, for sure covers this. And then, or maybe I can even utilize that as well. But make something that inserts in here from the front or the back or both. And then that scoops right into like a box. So I was thinking get like a factory air box and cut it up a little bit. Something that I can have one of those square filters in. And then run my intake tube to said box. I want to get a factory air box just from something, just to kind of get a good idea of like what I'm going to be able to do and not be able to do. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go to the old junkyard, root around in some old rigs, and see what I can find for an air box. Alright, I got me a factory air box. Now, I got to figure out how I'm going to rig this. I got an idea of how I'm going to make this duct. So I think what I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to get some measurements first, and then I'm going to make something that basically sandwiches between this headlight cowl looking thing to the adjuster, because you can see there's a gap all up in here. Ideally we'd want it like sealed, but I don't think that's going to happen as long as we can direct like 95% of the air straight through this instead of, you know, leaking through the cracks. That's what we're looking for. So I'm thinking pull this, well, measure a little bit, pull this off, and then start fabbing something that I can like a ring that goes in here basically, and then go from there. Maybe something attached to that ring that I have a tube that I can attach right here or something. I don't know. I gotta do a little bit more thinking, but this sandwich piece is definitely, I definitely got to do that. Make a little sandwich piece for in between the headlight adjuster and this cowl or bezel, I guess you'd call it. Alright, so this is what we're working with right now. I got a little like bezel welded up. I had to weld on a little extra, but we're pretty much flush with this adjuster bracket for the headlight itself, which is exactly what we want, because you can see it kind of cowls in really nice. That's what we're trying to keep. So my next step will be making something that, you know, goes up to this and then goes down a little bit to our actual intake size. So I'm thinking of welding something onto this, like some fingers, and then like a cup, and it reduces down, and then we can just hook that right into the our box here. Bracket going for the old intake thing, so we're just, you know, we're doing stuff and things. Let me go. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. We'll clean her up with the Dremel, that's all good. This grinder was definitely not made for this application. I need my little grabbies. Hold on. Where did I have those last? Oh, there they are. Yellow grabbers, here we go. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna set that over there for later. Alright, I'm gonna show you how not to use a grinder. definitely don't want to do that. You know, you're supposed to have all the PPE and all that, you know, whatever. I mean, I got the glasses on, that's fine. Ooh, the V1 Ram Air Duct. Throwing some paint on it right now. I got it. I test fitted it and all that. Fits good, or well, fits decent. The cowl or the headlight bezel goes on over it real nice. So that feller basically just sandwiches between this bezel and this plate, which is the adjuster for the headlight. And then off the back of that will be this. It sits right in there. And then this is at the perfect angle to go into my air box. That also, so I don't know if you remember if I showed you guys on film here, but there's a hole here. Trim that, made myself a cool Spectre Performance Labs plate, cover that up. But yeah, that fella will go into the back of that, and then filter, and then this will go out to the main intake. So yeah, we're making some progress. Alright, whole nother day, but reorganized everything. I got all my B series stuff over here for the Kanjo Civic, K series stuff over here for the ladies Civic, and then I threw the front end on this thing to just get an idea of what we're looking with, or get an idea of what we're going to look like, especially with the Ram Air Scoop. Looks pretty badass. Now I'm just waiting on those bearings, waiting on the standard size bearings so I can use half shells and shit like that. All the K series stuff on this table, so everything can be worked on. Then I got a bin for said K series stuff, so when we're actually taking this bottom end apart, we can put all this stuff in the bin, and then we can have, you know, crank up here, we can, you know, measure everything, and yeah, all you gotta do is just pull this out, kind of put it where you need it, and then do the work. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all right now. Stay tuned for the next clip. Alright, so what I ended up doing is I took my head to another machine shop that was actually really close by. I'm just going to have them do the guides and then actually lap the valves and then test them with air. They put a little like suction thing over it and they shoot air and see if it leaks or whatever. So I'm having them do that. So it's one less thing to worry about. This I think I can take care of on my own. So what I'm thinking is we'll pull the crank out. We'll pull these bearings out of 4 and 5, and we will do some light sanding. We'll take those down a bit, and then we'll see where we're at for clearance. Rolling with the flow, rolling with the flow. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Okay, crank time. Just set this feller in there. Okay. Just a little strip of it. You want to lay it directly across. As straight as you can get it. We'll put all of our caps in here. Then with these, this takes a little bit of persuasion because they got the dowels. You'll kind of hear a change of sound when you get it down all the way. And before you put every single one in, make sure your plastic gauge is still where you left it. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, getting caught up on the crank actually. Hopefully that didn't mess up this plastic gauge. we're gonna hope for the best on that one. And this is a little interesting because this is a non-VTEC block that has pretty much been adapted to be a VTEC block. As you'll see in a second here. Well, and you can see with the studs because alright, that's that. And then this guy, the girdle. With this, you just do a little make sure that's seated all the way. Yep. All right, cool. So now we'll clean off. All right, so I can show you guys a difference here. So that's what a VTEC bottom end would look like. So that's what it'd look like. That's what that engine used to look like, but now it looks like that with the girdle. So essentially what you do is you get your mains machined to accept the dowels in the girdle, and then you just get VTEC studs, or VTEC ARP studs, and pretty much just send it home. And you guys seen right there, that all went together pretty good. So if you get the machine work done, it's basically a VTEC block. Remembered, I got these swabs. If I can get a small one here. There we go. Grab a couple of them. Just remember that I had these, and I think this is actually the first time I'm actually using them for something that's like useful and important. Cam engines. The bridge is used on VTEC models only. Not when you're me. So yeah, that's our sequence right here. So we'll set that right there. We'll hit our first one with 30. Go a little bit extra when those studs will kind of tighten down a little bit and seat in there. 2, 3, and then when you loosen this, you want to go in quarter increments. Usually it takes 2 or 3 passes on that. That's 4. We got 5 and 6. We got 7 and 8, yep. Nine and 10 over here. I keep looking at the single overhead cam one, getting mixed up. That's fine. All right. I'm going to hit it with our 60 and then 80, and then once we start taking it apart, we'll come on back. All right, now we pull these caps. So move that. Push that down the line and pull these two first, because there's the two that I actually need to get my readings from. Ooh. That looks like it's in spec now. It's definitely close. Okay, where's my thing? Here we go. So we're looking for... no more than... Ooh, I think we did it. I think that might be our clearance. That's almost on the money. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a little bit more off to get us the same as 1 through 3. Just a little. I think 4 was the one that was really, could get really, it was really tight. And we're moving it a little. These are coming up on that side. This side, not so much. Let's see if we can. It's starting to go. Just gotta be careful. There we go. Oh, yeah. We can check on the bearing too. Yeah, that's looking really good. All right, so let me move this stuff, because that's where I had. This can get out of the way. Yeah, everything's kind of become not organized while I've been taking this apart, putting it back together, lubing everything up. So let's see, that should be 5. Yep, 5, 4. That lube is pretty much gonzo. That can go there. Those can go in there. Those can go on the floor. All right. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. I'm still going to take some more off though. And then we should be pretty much perfect with the other mains. Okay. Set that there. Take all these bearings out and sand it all down. Epic. So we'll get this moved kind of like that. And then got some extra Scotch braid here. We'll just go one at a time. I'm going to try and count my my strokes. Then I'm going to really clean that off because I think some of the leftover assembly lube is fucking with my specs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a guy. Just a random guy trying to build a race car. It's really hard with
So you'll see here after I do some of the sanding, or I guess just taking down the main a little bit, I throw the bearing right back in without, like super cleaning everything out. Everything is going to be actually cleaned and gone through once I know I have the right oil clearance. I'm just getting it wiped down so I can measure everything. And everything is going to get super cleaned, sprayed out, and make sure there's no debris in there when I actually put everything together, get it greased up and torqued down. And with that, even though it's all not super cleaned, with these last couple times that I'm going to be measuring oil clearance, I am going to at least just spray everything out of like the oil passages and whatnot, just to make sure it's not going to be interfering with my my measuring of the oil clearance. All right, that's the end of part 1 of the Kanjo Civic Chronicles. This is kind of the big step for this car, is getting the motor done, and after that, I can focus on some other smaller stuff. There's going to be no shortage of videos that I'm going to be making on this car. There's so much more to do. There's so much that I have already done that I haven't talked about, and I know some people are interested in seeing what I got going on with this thing, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate anybody who stayed this long for the end of the video, and all my past videos. Warms a guy's heart, Yeah, no shortage of stuff to be filmed, so there's lots of stuff to come in the future. Working on getting another camera so we can get dual angle shots and whatnot and up the production value a little bit. But yeah, for now, I'm working with what I got, trying my best, and I appreciate everybody for giving me a chance and watching my videos and me being stunned and learning a little bit myself along the way. So I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody out there who's watching. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. If not, I'm working on it, trying to do my best here. But yeah, again, I've said it a million times, but I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I appreciate you guys for watching, and stay tuned. There's lots more to come.